everyone, welcome to My Money Method weekly market scan. And yeah, this week is another week, and obviously within a week, a lot can happen, a lot can change. And let's go in and view in the markets as we normally do. So, as some of you are aware or not aware, the main things going on, I suppose, in the world today that can be affecting the market and which is drawing attention to the markets is namely number one, which is actually now come into the headlights, is all about China and China, how it's been depreciating its value and its currency, which has been playing quite a big role in the markets, in the markets this week, last week, because China's been doing that for about the past 2-3 weeks now, of depreciating and devaluing their currency. Yeah, some people think it's a good move, people think it's a bad move. Nonetheless, we are technical traders and we only really look at the technicals, and we don't really care about the fundamental analysis of particular currencies and so on and so forth. But when there is big news announcements and when there is devaluation going on, we do take note of that, and that is something we think about when we are looking at potential markets that may be affected by those changes. The other big one is still obviously with Greece and the bailout going on. That's still a big one, and now Greece is set to need to pay their first big portion in the next few weeks, and that's obviously big talks. But that's now second in position on what's going on in China and the depreciation of the currency in China. So, with having said all of that, in hindsight, we are looking now at the markets, and which we're starting off with the US dollar index. And what am I seeing with this market right now? Well, I can tell you, I mean, it's quite obvious. We've obviously seen a lot of an uptrend over the last, and then we had a huge pullback over the last week or so. And now we're starting to, we've had a bit of a bullish week. We've had a bullish week, no doubt about it. The last 3-4 days it's been bullish, one day after the other, moving on upwards. And there's scope for the dollar index to keep pushing on up to about this 98 level mark over here. However, having said that, if I look at the other currencies, or should I say the other time frames, we're looking at the weekly and we're looking at the monthly. To me, this looks like more like, there's no obvious trend going on. It's more of a sideways moving market at this point in time. So, there's a bit of indecision going on at the moment as far as I'm concerned with the dollar index, what's going on with the dollar overall. And it's not really particularly a market that I would be looking at all to place any trades. It doesn't float my boat, and it certainly doesn't meet my trading criteria. So looking at this market, although some people are calling it a bullish market, yeah, maybe it has been for a while in the last few days, but overall it's starting to look a little bit sideways movements to me. So no clear trend at this point in time. So I wouldn't be doing anything if I was going to be placing a trade this week, that's for sure. If we go and look at the let's go and look at the US dollar to the the Kiwi dollar to the US dollar. And we can see over here, I've actually marked it out, how we've had a lovely strong downtrend for quite some time, really, since about April of this year. It's just been in strong trend. Now we've started having some consolidation taking place, as well as we can see that on multiple time frames on the weekly. If we enlarge that, we can see the same thing happening over here. Where are we looking at? Well, right now, probability-wise, if we look at all the time frames, that this currency is going to continue its weakening against the US dollar, the New Zealand dollar against the Kiwi dollar. So I am looking at stalking this market for more momentum to the downside. So that's a market I'm currently looking at. I currently am stalking. I have got no trades in the market at this point in time, but I'm certainly looking to potentially look for the market to continue the Kiwi dollar on its losing it and devaluation of its currency and losing its strength against the Kiwi dollar. So that's a market I'll continue to look at. If we look at the Kiwi dollar to the British pound, well, we're kind of seeing exactly the same thing. So what does that mean? What are we going to be doing? If I was going to be placing a trade in this particular trade, because they pretty much so look very close, the Kiwi dollar and the Kiwi to the pound, I wouldn't be going. I'll probably put 0.5% on the Kiwi dollar, and 0.5% the Kiwi dollar to the US dollar, and 0.5% the Kiwi dollar to the British pound. And I would be looking at highest probability that the market's going to continue on its downward trend, and there's going to be a momentum breakout of this level over here that we see, and that we can see the momentum still on a downward side. And the highest probability, what I'm looking at across the indicators, is that the Kiwi dollar is going to continue losing its strength against the British pound and the US dollar. So that's something that I am looking at, and potentially will be taking a trade if the currency does continue and breaks through this level over here. If it does, what I might be doing is looking for it to pull back to this, which is a support level, into the resistance level and continuing down, and then I'll be placing my trade. So that is something that I'm looking at this point in time. If we go and look at cable, this is a currency right now where there's a lot of sideways movement, and we can see that across multiple time frames. In fact, if you also go to the lower time frames, you would be able to see that too. But sticking with the higher time frames, the daily, the weekly, and the monthly, we can see it across all the time frames that really over the last few weeks we've had that sideways movement. So it's not a market I would be looking to be placing any trades at this particular moment. And that's purely because there is no clear trend, upward or downward, in order for me to get the highest probable trade, and in order for it to meet my trading criteria, and for it to meet my strategy and my checklists that I've got, which obviously we do teach you all these things at Mind Money Method. And yeah, so at this point in time, this market does not meet any of my criteria. It is a sideways moving market, and I will not be placing any trades in that market. So looking at if I go and look at some particular other currencies at the moment now, I will look at this. Excuse me, that was my phone. Bad boy, I shouldn't have had that on. But in any case, looking at some other markets here, I want to show you some markets. Where is it? It's Australian dollar. No, it's not that one. It's yes, the Australian dollar to the British pound. Now, I mean, this is another market which has been in a very, very, very good downtrend, and same across the multiple time frames. So it's now come over the last few weeks that it's gone up, and there's been a bit of sideways movements. However, once again, this is a key level over here that I'll be marking out and keeping my eye out. And if the Australian dollar, that the price breaks through this level over here, then I will be looking for price to potentially also pull back and continue its fall onto the downside. So that's another market, the Aussie dollar to the British pound, that I'm looking at. And last but not least is the commodity of Brent crude. Now, we have been in this trade. When I say we, it's actually my business partner has been in this trade on a call we made a few weeks ago, and I think now is into the 12th day that we've got this trade going, and we've obviously creating another video like we did about 2 weeks ago, of showing exactly from start to finish of us entering in a trade. No hindsight trading. It's based on our strategies, it's based on the psychology that we teach, and it's based on the highest probability of trading using our technical indicators, and very limited on the fundamental side. So yes, so this is just another market which is continuing on its downtrend, and we are still in this trade. However, if you were looking at it from a fresh point of view, right now, we are coming to this level over here, 46.50, and potentially that price could break through the 46.50, the 4600 mark. So if we're looking at where it is right now, 4900 prices, it still can get all the way down to, if I look at this over here, around really 4600, actually more to the 4700. So there's still a little bit of movement for this market to fall as well before it gets to, I wouldn't say a major support level, but it is definitely a big number, and it's a big area, and it's something for us to look for. If price breaks on through this level over here, well, then the momentum can continue definitely further onto its downside. So we're really onto a good winning trade here, which was well spotted good 2 weeks or so back. We mentioned it in our videos, and it's just still another trade that we are still in, and it's another trade that we are still making money on. So we practice what we preach. And we would like to teach you how to do the same things that we do, just creating another income stream, for you to go on holiday, retire, quit your job. It's not what we really would tell you to do, but it is definitely something we would tell you. Why not create another income stream? Because in today's markets, you never know what's going to happen. If you lose your job, what are you going to rely on? So trading, if you treat it like a business, is definitely something that it can be used as a great income stream to create some money. So that's about it for this week, folks. I look forward to speaking to you next week, and happy trading, everyone.